Hey y'all, it's Elliot here. I wanted to come to you today to talk about something that honestly is gonna hit my pride a little bit and be super personal, but I don't think that I'm alone, and I know that hearing it from someone else would make me feel less alone. Um, so I'm gonna share it in the hopes that it hits the right person today. Um, so my thinking about it was sort of brought on by somebody posting about how being a minority makes it difficult for them to find a country that it will be safe to travel to. And so when I read that, I thought about it, and I thought about how being a trans man is going to make it more difficult for me to travel to a country where I can reasonably go and be and feel safe enough and confident enough that I'll be able to return to my home afterwards. Um, that's something that people of color have to think about. It's something that women have to think about, and it's something that queer folk have to think about. And I'm sure other minorities as well. So I was thinking about that, and I've never really thought about it before. And the reason I've never really thought about it before is because going to another country has never really been on the table for me. I was born and have been raised in the United States, and I have traveled over the border to Canada, but that is the extent of my traveling. And the reason I have never really been able to consider going to another country, even though I very much want to, is one, a financial barrier. Though I will say that is less so now that I pass as a man, although still impossible because of COVID. But the real reason I've never really considered going to another country is I do not have the time. I have never had the time. I work many hours. Sometimes I have worked 2 or 3 jobs at a time. So what you're saying, what I assume you're thinking is, well, some people have vacation time and personal time and sick time. Why don't you have that, Elliot? Well, the reason I don't have those things is because I change jobs a lot. Well, you don't have to do that, you think. I feel I do. And here's why. I have serious mental health things that I struggle with. Diagnosed, I have major depression, I have generalized anxiety, I have ADHD, and I have post-traumatic stress disorder. Those could all be symptomatic of something larger. Perhaps I have something altogether different, but I can tell you that my capacity is less than most of my peers. And I definitely think that I am eligible for disability if I were able to take the 1, 2, 3 years off and have other people pay my bills that is required to get disability in this country. I don't have the privilege to have someone else pay my bills while I don't work and apply for disability. Nor do I have the executive function to apply for disability. That is really at the edge of my capacity. Most disability claims get denied, and then you have to petition them, and that is a really challenging thing to ask of me, even if I could take the time to do it. So I am left with 2 options. One, I don't reliably work. I, don't end up paying my bills. Perhaps I will end up on the street, or, just you have to pay your bills if you want to maintain a relationship. So, to me, my options are live on the street, be alone, and beg, or work and change jobs a lot. So, you're probably wondering why I feel it's necessary to change jobs a lot. Well, here's what I am confident of. So it used to be, or at least we were trained that it was in capitalism, that you work your way from the bottom of the top, and if you work hard and you put your head down and you do what you're supposed to, that you'll eventually move up. And that wasn't the case for me when I passed as a woman. It has been the case for me passing as a man. I work hard, and I have gotten the titles that I feel I should have been granted based on the work that I was doing. But because of my mental health issues, I will be an exemplary employee until I'm not. It will come suddenly and without warning. One day I will wake up and I will know that I have two choices. One, somehow find the energy to go to work. I will end up going late. When I am there, I will be on the precipice of a panic attack so strong and so far past my capacity that I will either snap on the floor, have to leave work, cry, something that permanently damages my reputation with the company, or call out. Most often, I take that opportunity to call out because prior to that, I will have been an exemplary employee who has come in and taken people's shifts and, gone above and beyond what I've been called to do by the company I work for. Here's the thing about calling out in capitalism. It only takes once before it's really hard to rebuild your reputation as someone reliable and dependable. So 6 months will go by and I'll call out. And then somehow, hopefully, I'll be able to pull it together again for 6 months. Sometimes it's 1 month. Sometimes it's a day. It can be very unpredictable when my mental health capacity is past what I can handle. And then it will happen again. And 3 or 4 times of that, and usually someone either suspects or finds out that you're not actually sick. At least not in a tangible, measurable way. And your reputation as an exemplary employee will be upheld, but you will not have a chance of moving up because you are no longer considered reliable. And when I deem that there is no longer a chance for me to move up, I leave so that I can maintain my reputation, maintain the title and the money that I need to make in order to afford the lifestyle that I currently have. And so because of that, because I am never at a company more than a year or 2, I never obtain the kind of sick time or personal time that most people are able to obtain. And because I know that I'm going to have a mental health break at some point, I don't take the 2 weeks of vacation so that I can have the 1 day of mental health recoup that I know I'm going to need at some point. And so traveling isn't a tangible option for me. And I hope that someday it becomes a tangible option for me. And I hope that it becomes a tangible option for others who are in the same boat as me. Being trans means I have to go through twice as many hoops in order to show up to work and not be afraid of people hurting me or firing me. I know that the Supreme Court just upheld the ruling that you can't fire people for being trans, but let me assure you, if they want to, they'll find a way. And we all know that. And we're all dealing right now with a pandemic and all the other things that we have to deal with. And I just want you to know you're not alone. Love to you all.